Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney. This is the Brittney Reacts Show. And on this show we talk entertainment news. I've been going over strike news, different updates on the box office. We've been talking about a lot of fun movie news like the weird Taylor Swift Eras concert tour that's came out of nowhere but is already doing numbers. We're going to talk about that today. In fact, we have a couple of interesting things to talk about. I'm impressed with the amount of topics I was able to come up with because there wasn't a whole lot of extra news today. But we do have, as I mentioned, Taylor's opening weekend for this movie could be insane. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. One Piece is actually doing really well. I did watch the first episode, so if you stick around till the end of the live stream, I'm going to give you my review of the first episode, so stick around for that. And we are going to talk about the strike and how Hollywood is already losing hundreds, and I mean hundreds of millions of dollars because of these strikes already. And it's only been a couple of months. We know it's going to be several more months before they end, so it's pretty bad. But how are you guys doing? Hi, Natanya. Hi, Riaru. Hi, Gianna Toussaint. Hi, the Blue Gecko Nerd. Hi, Jax. Hi, Queen Bee. Hi, Free Rocket Man. Hi, everyone who's here and who continues to come to these live streams every day. I really do appreciate you, genuinely. So let's just get straight to the first topic, which is the box office, because I think this is probably the most interesting, or I guess I would say surprising, story of the year. I mean, the box office has had a lot of surprises this year. No one expected there to be so many major flops. Well, I did, but a lot of people didn't expect there to be a lot of major flops, like with Indiana Jones, the Mission Impossible movie, a lot of Disney films pretty much. And then you have big successes like the Mario Bros. Movie and Barbie, which a lot of people didn't expect those films to do really well. So the box office has been very, very unpredictable this year. And now we have yet another unpredictable little wrinkle here, because it's looking like Taylor could potentially have the biggest opening of the year, even surpassing Barbie. So it's currently projected that this movie could open between $100 to $150 million in just its opening weekend. Y'all, this is insane. Again, you have to respect it, even if you're not into the music like I'm not. You have to, that's insane. I don't know many other artists that could do this right now. Beyonce, I think, could do it. Maybe Rihanna. I don't know. There's not a lot of people that could do this, so it is very, very impressive. And just so you guys can get a real look at how big a $150 million opening would be, here is the top 5 highest grossing openings of the year so far. At number 5, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which opened at $106 million, so that would be more than Ant-Man, more than Guardians 3, more than the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie, more than the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Now, 150 wouldn't be more than Barbie, because Barbie opened at 162. But still, if it even came close to that, that would be insane. Especially since the current record for an opening for a concert movie is the Hannah Montana concert film that opened at 32 million. So, very, very big deal. Oh, we have a super chat from Nintendo Gaming Chair. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Brittney Reacts question. Please cover Cleopatra the 7th by protagonist Netflix from your point of view as a video if possible. I think I've heard about the Cleopatra thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to go over it, to be honest. I think that was such a long time ago. No one's really talking about it. It's not fresh news, but I'm sorry about that. Thank you for the super chat, though. I know a lot of people are not super excited for the Taylor movie. We did a poll yesterday, and about half of you are just not Taylor fans, but the other half of you are either going to see it or you're curious. So I know a number of you are very excited about this. Who's surprised? Is anyone surprised by this number as I am? Or are you guys yeah, this is pretty expected? Peter is such panda says, I really hate Barbie. Oh, I'm sorry. I loved Barbie. I thought it was really good. Folklore Corner says, I find it funny that tickets are $19.89. Yeah, it's a very clever marketing trick. Very, very clever. If anything, I think Taylor's a business. I kind of respect Taylor as the businesswoman more than her music, because the business move she makes is like, they're pretty smart. Cynthia says, I went to the Eras tour and I still bought tickets. It's a great show. Okay, I've heard it's a pretty good show. Ken and Barbie edits a surprise. I know, me too. Arvin says, hi, Brittney. Oh, just wanted to say it's 3 a.m. here. Oh, but you wanted to be at the live stream. Hi, Arvin. Oh, I'm so glad that you can make it. I'm sorry it's so late there, but I appreciate you being here. Eric says, I want to see it so badly, but I'm in Europe. Yeah, it's only in the U.S. right now. Now, I'm wondering, I think the reason why she's only opening it in the U.S. is because she's already toured the U.S. And so she's probably thinking, I still want people to want to see my show in person. So she could possibly release the movie again next year overseas once she's already done the rest of her tour. So you might still get to see the movie in theaters. You might just have to wait until she's already left your country. That's kind of what I think she's doing. Natanya says, wish I could go to the Eras tour. Those tickets were very expensive. I saw people were paying $5,000 for nosebleeds. It's insane. Same with Beyonce's tickets too. I've been kind of following both tours, and it's actually really interesting. Having two major pop stars going on tour right now. Lovely Billy says, genuine question. Wasn't she a what? I thought she dated an underage dude. I think you're referring to, at some point she did date a 17-year-old. I think that's what you're referring to. That question caught me so off guard. Not even gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's a perfect person, to be honest. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of her, just in general. But I'm just talking about her box office. Interesting. Okay, a lot of you guys do not like Taylor. It's fascinating that I seem to have acquired an audience that is, I would say about half of you are very anti-Taylor, which is very fascinating. Yeah. But anyway, random topic that just came up out of nowhere. But yes, we already did a poll. But I'm curious. I'm going to do another poll asking, what do you guys think this movie will open to? Where do you see this movie opening at? So about to start a polls. I just like doing polls because you guys like them and it keeps you guys engaged. All right. How much will the movie make? I'm going to say 100 to... You know what? Let's do less than 100. Let's do 70 to 100. And let's do 100 to 130. And let's do 130 to 150. Hold on. And then last option will be just 150 plus. So... be honest. I think you guys will. Mr. Pizza says 50 to 100 million at the box office. Here's the crazy thing. And I probably should have had this tweet up, but it's actually already sold $60 million in pre-sales. So we know it's at least 60 million. So keep that in mind when you're voting, guys. But I also think the pre-sales, I think this movie will be extremely pre-sale heavy. So I think however much money this movie already sells ahead of time is probably the bulk of what it's going to get, because I can't imagine there's going to be a whole lot of people that didn't buy a ticket and just suddenly decide to go opening day. I think her fans are going to want a ticket way ahead in advance. So I think this movie is going to be very pre-sale heavy. Let me see what the poll says. Where did the poll go? Hold on. Okay. So... oh, it's pretty split, actually. You guys are all over the board here. So at 29%, 29% of you think about 100 to 130 million. Okay, that's actually where I'm at. I think this movie is going to open to around 130 million. That's my prediction. 33% of you think 150 plus. Oh, it's going up. Now it's at 35%. 150 million. That's if this movie opens higher than Barbie, that would be the single biggest surprise of the year, at least in the movie space. Like, no one, I'm sure not even Taylor would have seen that coming. I just can't see it. I really can't see it, but that would be impressive. 21% of you think it'll be between 130 and 150. So maybe around like what Guardians opened to. And then 15% of you think 70 to 100 million. So you don't even think it'll get to 100 million. I actually think it will get to 100 million. I don't think it'll be less than that. I think it's selling so well, I just can't see it missing that mark. But yeah, I think you guys are pretty split on this, but a lot of you think it's going to open like pretty big. So this is pretty huge. Hi, Peter is such a panda. The Blue Gecko Nerd says Taylor got her redemption after losing her label. She managed to get her masters to make her own songs. I mean, she definitely has a good narrative. I think that if there's anything you could say about Taylor is that she's very good at marketing herself. Alright, so moving on to the next topic. We're going to go straight to entertainment news. So, One Piece. One Piece is actually doing extremely well. Again, I am going to give you my review of the first episode since I know a lot of you guys wanted to hear my opinions about the show. So stick around to the end of the live stream to hear my review. But the show is actually doing very well. According to Netflix, it debuted with over 18.5 million views. That's a lot of people. Now, to be honest with you, the way that all of these streaming services count their views is a little shady, so it sounds like a huge number, but you never know. A view could be like someone watched it for like 5 minutes and that's it. We don't really know. But just taking it at face value, this is pretty good. This is like a huge hit. I know I already asked you guys yesterday how many of you have seen it, but did anyone else check it out last night because we talked about it? Ice King James says One Piece was good. Well, I'll let you know what I think in just a minute. Black Star says it's good to hear that One Piece is a success. It is good to hear. I know Netflix has to be happy. They were definitely hoping that this movie, not the show, Netflix was hoping that this show would be like their next Stranger Things. Netflix is basically trying to find another big hit phenomenon to take over Stranger Things' place once it ends. So that's why you're starting to see all these like huge, big budget like plays like this with One Piece because they're trying to find the next Stranger Things. So they definitely thought that this could be it. To be fair, I don't think this show has reached that peak yet. I just don't feel the show in the zeitgeist like I do with a Stranger Things. But it's still a pretty big hit. I just don't think it's the big phenomenon yet, but it could grow. We'll see. Okay, Star Film Studios says you were not expecting that. Okay. Mayume says, I'm interested despite not watching the anime before. Yeah, I watched this knowing absolutely nothing about the anime. Like, I didn't even look anything up because I wanted to just go in with a fresh perspective. So you will find out. I literally knew nothing, so I was finding out everything about the show in real time, and boy, was that a trip. Rolly Fan says they made really sure to translate, adapt, and not include what would work from an animated medium to a live-action medium. I would say, if I could spoil anything from my review later on, I think this show is basically the most literal definition of a live-action anime adaptation. Like, it's basically anime and how they shoot it and how they act it, and even how they do the costume, like the costuming and hair and makeup. Like, all of it is so stylized and cartoony that it's basically like the literal definition of live action anime. Like, it could have just been a cartoon. So they were very, very literal with the anime adaptation, which I actually liked about it. Gianna Tissot says, you never watched anime. I know a lot of you guys like anime, but Eric hates it. Oh, interesting. Dylan says, I've never seen the anime, but I guess I'll watch it because of you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. You guys haven't even heard my review yet. You don't know if I like it. But it's pretty good for Netflix, good for the show. Again, I will get to my review in just a minute. Moving on, I want to remind you guys, or at least maybe update you guys in case you didn't know, but Disney is actually working on a Princess and the Frog TV show for Disney Plus. And Jennifer Lee, who's the president over at Disney Animation, she just did a whole interview talking about a bunch of upcoming Disney projects. And she just gave this very, vague update on the show, but it's nice to at least hear that it's still happening. She said that the Tiana series is a whole new world for her, a new direction and a new voice. So it's going to be Tiana venturing out on a new adventure, so I don't think she's going to stay in Louisiana. And hopefully I don't think she's going to be a frog the whole time either. I don't know what it's going to be about beyond that, but I'm kind of excited for it. I think that this is more interesting and exciting than, the 100th Marvel series or Star Wars series, so I'm kind of into this. Anyone excited for this? Oh, Nintendo Gaming Chair, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Please consider reacting to Twilight Zone episode to serve man as a video for your first time. I do like the Twilight Zone. I've actually seen almost every episode. It's a good show. I haven't seen the new updated one that Jordan Peele did, but I do like the old show. I'm not going to be reacting to it, I'm sorry. It's just too difficult with copyright, but thank you for the super chat. The modern designer says this concept art looks off model. Yeah, it doesn't really look like her, does it? But it is just concept art. Okay, I should do a poll for this. Who's gonna watch the Tiana show? Who's curious? Alright. Starting the poll. Alright, Tiana show. Who's interested? Yes, totally gonna watch it. And then, no, not interested. And then I'll do a maybe. So you just need to see more marketing. Alright. Eric says, I think Disney should do what they did with Rapunzel. Make a series, maybe short or something. The animated Rapunzel series that was on Disney Channel is actually really good. I've watched it. And it's not, like, super kiddie either. It's actually, like, a very mature, like, cartoon. Like, it's something for all ages. But if you're interested in Tangled, if you like those characters, I would recommend the animated series they did after the movie was over. It continues where the movie left off. It's very, very good. Ezra Forth says not gonna subscribe to Disney. Yeah, Disney's hurting. They're losing a lot of subscribers right now. It's a tough time for them. Going to the poll, 42% of you are excited, so that's good. That's actually a really healthy amount. 33% of you are maybe. That's fair. We don't really know much about it. 25% of you or 27% of you are no. I would actually think this is pretty good for the show, though. Only about a quarter of you aren't interested, so maybe the show will be a hit. I think that has a chance, actually. I think if they did more shows based off their Disney princesses, I think those could be really big hits, because people still like the Disney princesses. That's like the one Disney thing I don't think has been, like, touched yet, or, like, ruined. You know what I mean? So I think this could actually be a big hit. Ending the poll. Star Film is curious, yeah. I think we'll at least be curious. I'm very excited to see what the trailer looks like. Hopefully it's good. Alright, moving on. Now, the next thing that Jennifer Lee also talked about that I just wanted to bring up is that she actually gave, across the Spider-Verse films, their flowers. She said, quote, I love what the Spider-Verse has done. All innovation in animation is innovation for everyone. That's a tongue twister. They have earned success, but we are a small community. We all share relationships and we support everyone. I think that is so great of her. Again, Jennifer Lee is the president of Disney Animation, so she's in charge of that whole thing. So for the president of, Disney Animation, which for a long time Disney Animation was considered to be the innovator of animation, so for her to say that another movie has been the innovator and has changed the game, I think is really respectable of her, and honestly true. Spider-Verse changed the game when it comes to animation style, and now you're seeing all these new movies like the TMNT movie, the Puss in Boots movie. You're seeing a lot of animation like change up their art style. Before Spider-Verse, everyone was still basically doing the same Cal art style that they've been doing for decades, so I think it's just really nice that Disney actually recognized this movie officially for what it did for animation. I think it's nice because it's actually accurate. The Blue Gecko Nerd says the actress that plays Ariel is really old and she still voices her despite all these years. Wait, are you talking about Jodie Bennett? Does she still voice Ariel somewhere? I'm not aware of that. Oh, Nintendo Gaming Chair, you have another super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the show. What is your opinion on Rachel Zegler being cruel? I do have a separate segmented video where I talked about the Rachel Zegler situation last week. So if you check on my channel, I have a whole video just talking about Rachel Zegler. So I think that you should check that out. But thank you for the super chat. Yeah, Jodie Benson. I'm well aware of who Jodie Benson is. I just didn't know that she's still voicing the character. Where does she still voice the character? I didn't know they're still doing, like, Ariel stuff. Is there still an Ariel show I don't know about? But thank you for the super chat again. So I just wanted to bring this up because I think that it's respectable that Disney actually honors and gave the flowers to this movie because it definitely changed things. Alright, moving on. Now this is actually good news for Disney, potentially. Because the Marvels and the Hunger Games prequel, Hunger Games isn't Disney, but the Marvels is, both those films were named the most want-to-see films in the Fandango's fall poll. So that means there might actually be a lot of anticipation and excitement for these movies, maybe, if they won the poll. And the reason that this is significant is because a lot of people buy their tickets through Fandango. If you're not in the US, Fandango is like a very popular ticket buying service. So the fact that they always do these polls to like see what people are actually interested in. So this is very significant. It shows that there maybe is more interest in the Marvels than people thought. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think the Marvels could surprise and actually do kind of well? Or do you think that this movie is just dead on arrival no matter what? The poll is irrelevant. I'm very curious. And also the Hunger Games prequel. Considering, as we just talked about with Rachel Zegler, she's so controversial at the moment because of those Snow White comments resurfacing. I think it's also pretty surprising that that hasn't seemed to have affected the Hunger Games movie at all, despite the fact that she's the lead of the movie. So how do you guys think these movies are going to do? Does this change your anticipation for these films? Do you think maybe they have a chance at doing well now? Okay, Eric thinks that the Hunger Games prequel will be better than Snow White. Very much likely. I think that's probably likely. Oh, you want a poll for the Hunger Games? Well, okay, let's do a poll. Well, let's do a poll for both. I'll say... at the Marvels and Hunger Games. Are they gonna be a hit or nah? I'm gonna say both hit, both flop. That's very possible. Say the Marvels is a hit, and then Hunger Games is a flop. Oh wait, no. Hunger Games is a hit. Alright. Adding the poll. OTMP says, I'll just save my money to watch Dune and Avatar movies. I know, I was so looking forward to seeing Dune this fall, but then they moved it. That was my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year, but oh well. Mr. Pizza 56 says, y'all love polls for some weird reason. Why? I think the polls are fun. Denise says, tired of constant prequels. There are so many books that can film. Or you mean you want more like book adaptations? Honestly, I think they should do that. I think they should look at more like original famous books like Dune to adapt. I think that could be a whole new genre that could flourish, honestly. Rhea Lynn says, if anything, I feel the Hunger Games prequel could hit more, but I'm not sure it will actually hit. I have no idea what the Hunger Games movie is going to do. I can't decide, because without Katniss, without Peeta, without like the original actors, I just don't know if this movie has the same hook, you know? It's not even based off of, well, it is based off of one of the books, but it's not based off of like the main series that everyone got obsessed with. So I just, it's a question mark for me. Going to the poll. Okay, so a lot of you think that only The Hunger Games will be a hit. Interesting. But 40% of you, 40% of you, which is a lot, 40% of you think that both of them will be a flop, which is very, very likely, so I'm not even mad at y'all. And then 6% of you, equally, think that either they'll both be a hit or just the Marvels will be a hit. So not a lot of you think that the Marvels will be a hit, that seems. Because literally only 6% of you think that movie's actually going to be a hit, or 12%, so not a large amount, and you're probably right, to be honest. Real Lynn says, it's really telling that not a lot think the Marvels will be a hit. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Could you imagine, even just like 5 years ago, saying that with certainty you think a Marvel movie's gonna flop? Because 5 years ago, that just didn't happen. And now it happens enough that we're like, yeah, it could happen. Like, it's crazy how their downfall has been, like, it's been quick. Marvel's downfall was quick, let me tell you. Sexy Rhino says, did the trailer for The Hunger Games come out? I think I only saw the teaser. Yeah, it's had a trailer. It's actually had a healthy dose of marketing so far. Eric says, what do you think about the new Harry Potter series? I think it has a chance of being a hit, despite a lot of people will be very upset about it. Alright, I'm going to end the poll now. Thank you for participating. OTMP says, the only Marvel movie that's good is Into the Spider-Verse. Oof, so you don't like any of the MCU. I mean, to be fair, I know the MCU is an acquired taste. Even though a lot of people have that taste, not everyone likes Marvel movies. Alright, moving on. I know, Sexy Rhino. You have such an interesting name. Okay, moving on. Now, Christopher Nolan. I'm not going to read all of this, but basically he defended the fact that his movie Oppenheimer was 3 hours long, saying that he thinks that it is a myth that young people's attention spans are getting shorter, and that he doesn't think it's true at all, and that he points out that a lot of the highest grossing films of all time are usually like around 3 hours, which is true. If you look at the top highest grossing films like the Avengers movies or Avatar movies or really anything in the top 10, most of them are like at least 2.5 hours. And I think he's right. I honestly don't think that 3-hour movies are a big deal, since we keep getting so many of them that are doing really well at the box office. I think that if you're going to make your movie 3 hours, you just have to make sure that it's really good. And that's basically what he says at the final paragraph here. He says, a 3-hour running time is completely fine. If you're not liking the movie, a 3-hour running time is going to feel very, very long. Now, as you guys know, I did not care for Oppenheimer. So for me, this 3-hour movie felt like 10 hours. But I know a lot of people really did like it. So if you're into the movie, I don't think the runtime is really that much of a factor anymore, to be honest with you. What do you guys think? Marissa says, movies are not TikTok. There's a different expectation. Exactly. Jaden's Toy says, I have a crush on the Rhino. What? What are y'all talking about? Rhea Lynn says, hell, there is a shorter film that feels like they dragged on for 3 hours, not in a good way. Yeah, I kind of feel that way. My issue with Oppenheimer was that it was 3 hours, but half of the movie took place in a boardroom. Like, we just heard Oppenheimer tell us about his life, but we really didn't really see him live a lot of the stuff that he was talking about. It was all just in the boardroom, but I know it's very successful. I'm happy that it's successful, but, you know, it just wasn't for me. Exactly, Rolly fan. Titanic was 3 hours, and it was a huge hit. And I love Titanic. Adlad says, I'm not even a big Nolan fan, and I sat through 3 hours of Oppenheimer. It was pretty good, but don't think I'd see it again. Yeah, I keep thinking maybe I need to see it again. Maybe I should give it a second chance. But then I think about sitting 3 hours again in that theater when I didn't like it the first time, and I'm like, I don't know. It's hard. I think I'm going to wait till streaming. Alright, but moving on. I just had to bring this up because I think it's true. We are getting more 3-hour films now. It's becoming super common. So I don't think it's really a deterrence anymore. I think we're probably going to keep getting these long movies because as long as they're making money, studios aren't going to see a problem with it. So get ready for lots of 3-hour movies, y'all. They're just going to keep making them. All right, moving on. I also wanted to show you guys this. This is such a cute little video. Not really news, but this was a slow news day, so I had to find some stuff to fill up this live stream. But Zendaya and Tom Holland attended Beyonce's Renaissance tour. And I just think this video was very funny. Because you have Zendaya here, she's like getting like called beautiful by the people walking past. And you have Tom on his phone, like filming the whole thing, like he's just this very supportive boyfriend. And then the guy on the phone looking at Tom is like, oh yeah, and Tom Holland's here. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm famous too. He's like such a supportive boyfriend. He's walking behind her, just filming her. I just think it's really, really funny. I had to share that because I thought it was hilarious. Ice King James says, I'm a big fan of 1-hour movies. I think you can do they even make 1-hour movies? I think that's just, they would just call that a miniseries, or a short film. Dee Dee says, she's the star and Tom is just the boyfriend. And Tom acts that way too. He's just like, yeah, she's Barbie, I'm just Ken, and he accepts it. Like, that's how they, like, that's very much what their dynamic is. It's kind of funny. Oh, we're getting to the Timothée Chalamet stuff. That's the WTF news. So if you guys want to hear about the WTF news, stick around for the Timothée Chalamet stuff. Oh, okay. 90 minutes. 90 minutes I feel like is good for a comedy, but I feel like 90 minutes is too short for any other genre, to be honest with you. Indy Sunflower says, I hope the next Spider-Verse is 3 hours long. Want to see more Miguel. I think it's probably going to. I think, didn't they already hint that it probably will be very long? So you're probably going to get your wish. Alright, moving on. I just wanted to share that video because I thought it was funny. We are getting to the strike news now because the strike is whooping Hollywood's ass. So, Warner Brothers Discovery is already expected to take a hit of up to $300 to $500 million in just their 2023 earnings. And again, these strikes have only been going on for a couple of months now, and it's looking likely that it's going to go on into next year. So this number is only going to increase. This is insane. And the thing is, as I keep saying, it is not the creatives that are holding out this strike as long as it's been going on. It's the studios that are the ones that are refusing to negotiate, which is the craziest part of all. And, well, I'll get to that in a second. And I just wanted to point that out because, again, just look at what the writers are asking for. The writers are only asking for 0.18% of the studio's annual revenue. That's all they're asking for. 0.18%. And they're willing to lose $300 to $500 million plus in order not to pay them 0.18%. If that's not just greed and selfishness, I don't know what else you can call it. I'm sorry. I mean, come on. They're asking for 0.18%, and they're so, like, stubborn about it. They're willing to lose $500 million by saying no. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh, how I pronounced ass was hilarious. How did I say it? Rolly Fan says, if the studios are losing so much money, get rid of the CEOs, the biggest waste of money. Honestly, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery makes something like $200 million a year. Why does one man need to make $200 million a year for doing a terrible job at running this company? Which he is. Makes no sense. It is pure greed and evil. Yeah, it is pure greed. What are y'all talking about, Fod Fareed? I heard Harry Styles and James Corden were shirtless and acting zesty around each other. What? Fod? What? What are y'all talking about? Y'all are just bringing up some random stuff this time. I mean, I'm loving it, but what? Oh, hi, Brianna. But anyway, moving on, I wanted to bring up this tweet. This is just by like a random Twitter account. This isn't from like anyone like official or anything, but I'm sharing it with you because I think he brings up a great point. Because I'm just going to read it to you. I am convinced that the reason some of these companies refuse to bargain with the unions is because the slightest bit of additional scrutiny on their bookkeeping would reveal massive financial fraud. And I think he's absolutely right. I think the reason why they're being so stubborn about this and not wanting to show their streaming numbers and not wanting to share like the revenue based off of the viewership is because I think all of these studios are lying. I think they're all lying about how well these shows are doing. I think they're lying about their viewership. I think they're lying about how well their streaming services are doing. I think they're lying about how much money they're making. I think they're all lying. And the reason I think they're all lying is because several of them are already being sued for lying. For example, Warner Brothers Discovery is in trouble for lying about having as much as 10 million additional subscribers. So they lied about how many subscribers they had, and they were caught about it. If they're lying about how many subscribers they have, I mean, what else are they lying about? We're just trusting these people to tell us that the viewership is accurate, but we don't actually know. And it sounds like a lot of these numbers they've been telling us are basically just flat out lies to make their streaming services look better than they are. And Disney as well. Disney is facing a lawsuit for misleading investors over streaming numbers. So this is already something that's starting to come out through lawsuits. So I think that's why they're playing so hardball with creatives, is because I think they're hiding a lot of illegal ish. I genuinely think that's the issue. Mr. Yas Queen. I like that name. Mr. Yas Queen says, I feel stupid. I thought this whole time people were referring to Ezra Miller as they, them, because there are two Ezras in the Flash, not a pronoun thing. Why are you guys talking about Ezra Miller? OTMP says, so pretty much corporate giants are a little shy and embarrassed to show their true streaming numbers. Yep, that's what this is. I think this is what it is. I mean, for them to be willing to lose this much money, and it's not just them. It's all of them. Again, the AMPTP represents the studios. The strikes already are projected to wipe off $5 billion from California's economy. $5 billion already. So they're willing to lose $5 billion from the economy, their own industry. For what reason? There has to be a strong reason. And I think the reason is that they're all lying and they're desperate to hide their butts. And I think all these lawsuits coming out showing that they're kind of being sketchy with the numbers is saying something. I think it's all connected. I'm just saying, I think we're going to find something out by the end of this strike, that a lot of the viewership numbers, a lot of these numbers were just fake or really like hyper inflated. Oh, you agree with me. Good. Oh, we are going to do the One Piece review in a minute. We haven't done that yet. The Modern Designer says, will Warner Brothers Discovery be making tons of unscripted reality content during the strikes? Possibly. I don't really know what they're going to do. They seem to be kind of a mess at the moment. Like, they're hiring PR crisis firms. They're hiring, people to, like, figure out what the hell to do because they don't know what to do. I don't know. It's getting so messy that I think it's gotten to a point where it's so out of control that I don't think the studios have any clue of how to end this at this point. That's why I think these strikes are going to go for a very long time. Marissa A says they would lose more from share prices falling. Oh, that's a good point, Marissa. Thank you. I don't always think about the stock market, but maybe I should. But you're absolutely right. They're all, at the end of the day, all of this is for money. All of this is just for their shareholders. So if they think that holding out the creatives and not having a deal to end these strikes is what's going to make their shareholders more money, then that's what they're going to do. But I just think it's stupid. I know this is a very businessy talk, but I just had to bring this up because it's a very important update in the strike. I think it just shows you how stubborn they are and how afraid they are to really show what's under the hood. And I think there's a reason for that. because again, I think they're lying about a lot of this stuff, like a lot. So, going to the member question. Oh, West Coast Avenger, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. 8 out of 11 proposal increases, residuals, streaming on demand 76%, 22%. Are you pointing out that the studios offered the creatives residual increases? Yes, that they did. I understand that you're trying to play devil's advocate and, say the studios are not entirely evil. I get your point. But a lot of what they offered in this deal was full of loopholes to still screw everyone over, especially when it comes to AI. Like, that language was very, very flimsy. And everyone could see through it. And the residual increases are still not a huge bump. Like, what people are trying to do is get residuals based off of how successful a show is doing. That's why there's such talk about getting the viewership numbers on how well a show is doing. That's not what the studios are actually offering the writers and the actors. They're offering them just like a general streaming residual increase from like just a figure out of nowhere, essentially. And that's not what people want. They want to know that the money that they're making is based directly on the success of their show or movie. Like, for example, we talked about Aaron Paul the other day saying he doesn't make anything from Breaking Bad being on streaming, even though it's a huge hit. He wants the money from how successful Breaking Bad is on Netflix, and I think that's totally fair. So yes, the studios are offering a bit of an increase with how much they're paying people. I still don't think it's enough, to be honest. But thank you for playing devil's advocate. You allowed me to justify my argument more. But thank you. Moving on. Yeah, I know the chat is talking about Ezra a lot. You guys must not be that interested in this topic. I will go to the member question now, because I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the whole strike thing. And I wanted to hear, how do you think the strikes will end, given the fact that everyone's losing so much money? And I got a lot of really good comments. Again, thank you so much for your insightful comments here. Connor Nelson says, I have a feeling the studios may never agree to any demands and just die off one by one. Smaller independent studios will start popping up and will be the new normal in a couple years. I actually agree with you. I don't think it'll be quite overnight, but I definitely think the industry is going through an evolution where the modern day, like, major studio giants, I could totally see them losing relevancy as new, smaller studios take their place. I could definitely see that within, like, across 10 years, I could see that being the case, for sure. Danny, thank you for being a member, says, I think they will end in favor of SAG-AFTRA because of the huge losses they are starting to see. I just don't understand how you're willing to lose $500 million instead of pay fractions of percentages that SAG-AFTRA is asking for. It's mind-boggling. Exactly. It makes no sense to me. All they're asking for is 0.18%, and they're willing to lose $500 million. That just shows you the mindset that they're in. It's honestly, it's gross. Brienne Solis says, they honestly, AI could save their studios. However, at this point, and before the public just hates them, they're just rich, stubborn people who would rather watch Hollywood burn than negotiate with the people who have kept it afloat so many years. I don't know if they want to watch it burn. I just think that they're so upset that the strikes isn't going how they wanted that they're kind of acting like babies. Like, honestly, every time I hear about these studio execs now, it's like, oh, I can't believe everyone hates us. Why is everyone mad at us? And I'm like, dude, do you not have any self-awareness? Like, obviously everyone's striking because of how you're treating people, and you're, like, shocked that no one likes you? Like, okay. Slackjaw says, all they had to do was pay those people, and now they're losing money. I know. That's literally all they had to do. Literally the bare minimum, and they couldn't meet it. It's kind of messed up. But thank you everyone here who commented, and thank you everyone for being a member. If you want to be a member, please press the join button at the bottom of the screen. I would really appreciate it. It just really supports the channel, so I really appreciate it. Thank you. So moving on to my WTF news before I get to my One Piece review, because I want to save that for last, because I wanted to just talk about what is happening. So Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner are actually real? Like, we know they've been talked about in the press a lot. We know that they've been alluded to being a couple, but like no one thought this was real. No one thought this was real, but they were at Beyonce's tour last night and they were kissing and hugging and like basically confirming they're a couple, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what? And all of Twitter has been talking about this all day because Timothée Chalamet's fans are so distraught. Like, they're complaining and crying because they're like, I can't believe Timothy would date her. And he was smoking at the venue, so they're all like, oh my god, Timothy was smoking and he was with Kylie. Like, oh, it was just so much drama on the internet just because of this one video. Have you guys seen this? What do you guys think of this couple? Rhea Rue says, tired of the talentless crew. I know. Here I am talking about a freaking Kardashian like I swear I never would. Oh, Marissa think it's cringe. Yeah, I think they're really cringe, to be honest. Starfilm says, oh. It seems like most of you are just not into this couple. I think the general internet or just the world in general is like, what is this? This is like the most oddest couple together possible. Oh, Jack says, I don't know these people. Interesting. Modern Designer says, this has to be AI. No one believes they're together even though there's now a video. That's funny. But anyway, I just had to bring that up because you guys like WTF news, and I thought this was definitely WTF news. So going to my One Piece review now. Hold on. Oh, 1 second. Anyway. How many of you guys have actually seen this before I get into this? It's going to be a non-spoiler review, so don't worry about spoilers. Because I know you guys, some of you are curious, some of you are big anime fans, some of you are not. But I have to say, as I mentioned before, I knew nothing, like literally nothing about this show going into it. I wanted to be surprised. I wanted to just be, you know, have a fresh mind, a fresh perspective. Because I don't want it to always be where in order to get into an adaptation, you have to have seen the original. Like, I feel like so much, because Hollywood's doing so many sequels and adaptations now, I feel like there's so much homework just to get into a lot of franchises now. So I didn't want to do the homework. I didn't want to go and watch the original series. I just wanted to watch it and just enjoy it for what it was. So it was very interesting. I do like it. It is good. I liked it. But boy, was I not prepared. Maybe I should have prepared myself a little bit, because I was like, wait a minute, what? So just giving a general non-spoiler plot summary for those who don't know what the show is about. It's about a pirate world where it just seems like basically everyone lives on boats and everyone either wants to be a marine or a pirate. This main character, his name is Monkey. Very, very weird, interesting character here. His entire life's goal is to find this hidden piece of treasure called the One Piece so he can be the Pirate King. And it's basically just him just going around the ocean, having adventures, meeting people. That's what the first episode was, basically just setting up this adventure and meeting the gang that he's gonna, you know, try to find the treasure with. So that's what the premise is about. That's what the show is. I actually thought this was kind of an interesting premise. I like pirate stuff. Some of the visuals in the episode really reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean, like, really strongly. Like, not going into too many spoilers, but if you've seen the opening scene of the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, this show opens in, like, almost the exact same way. Like, it has almost the exact same opening sequence. So I almost feel like the Netflix creators behind this show definitely took inspiration from Pirates of the Caribbean. But I actually did mind that. I thought it was very dynamic. I thought the production value was actually quite good. I thought the show looked visually pleasing. It was actually, like, you know, a visually attractive show. Who do you thought? A lot of shows nowadays, to me at least, just look very basic. This show did not look basic. Sexy Rhino says, Mango has so much details, that's why the original is so good. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot going on in the plot. They had a lot to set up in this first episode, like a lot of characters to go over. And some something that was kind of weird for me, again, as someone who didn't watch the anime, I could tell that the actors were just trying to act like the anime characters because the acting was so, like, hammy. Like, they were acting like, oh, I'm gonna do this, like, it was very much like everyone's acting performance is out of 10, as you would see in a typical anime. So there were certain times where I was just like, oh wow, these actors are really going for it. I don't know about this. Like, I could totally see the show not being for everyone, not gonna lie. Even though I actually enjoyed it. I like the fun vibe of it. I like that it didn't take itself too seriously. I like the main character, actually, Monkey. The actor who plays him is very, very good. He's very expressive. He has the wiry energy the character needs. He really makes the whole show work, so props to him. Arvin says the acting was hilarious. Yeah, the acting is like, literally, I was chuckling to myself, not gonna lie, in some of the scenes, just because the acting was just like, wow. They really said you can't go too far. And there is no such thing as overacting. But I think it works, to be honest, because, like, the vibe that they were going for was, like I said, the most literal sense of live-action anime. Everything about it just felt very surreal, but in a good way. Oh, Glitchmation said, stop calling him Monkey. His monkey isn't that his first name? That's what they call him in the show. Luffy. Okay, I know, okay, so in the show they call him Monkey D. Luffy. So is he just called Luffy? Is that what people call him? Sorry, I'll call him Luffy. My apologies. They call him Monkey in the show. My apologies. Don't cancel me. Okay, Luffy. I'll call him Luffy from now on. Sorry. John Burns says, subscriptions hard to add up for CEOs, Brittney. It's not hard to add up subscriptions. They're just lying. I like that you're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but come on. There's definitely some sketchy stuff going on, but thank you for the super chat. I like how the whole chat was, like, literally yelling at me. Luffy. Oh, it's still Luffy. I'm still saying it wrong? Luffy? Okay, Luffy. Fine. Y'all are just bullying me. I told you I don't know this show, alright? Luffy. Fine. Why are y'all so mean? Moving on. I like how many details they added to the set and the production design, and the ships were all really gorgeously designed. And I use this graphic here because it just showed you, like, how closely they were trying to, like, replicate the animated show. Like, even down to just, like, fine details. Like, the hair and makeup was exactly the same, because I went back and, like, checked to see what the differences were. Like, everything is basically exactly the same. Like, you could tell that people who worked on the show really like the original series, or are really big super fans, which I always think makes the project better, when you can tell that people who are working on it actually like the thing that it's based on. So, if you're a fan of the original, you're probably gonna like this, for sure. Yes, I got it, it's Luffy. Moving on, like this, for example, this is one of the sets that they have. This is one of their boats, and I'm just like, first of all, they actually built this. Second of all, I just like how whimsical and crazy it looks. The whole world looks like this, pretty much, and I just think that it was pretty cool. The action was also fun. I like his stretch abilities. I didn't know, well, I did know because I saw at least the trailer, but I forgot for a second that he had the ability to stretch. So the first time that he stretches, this isn't a spoiler because it's literally in the marketing, and it's what the show's about. But he has stretching powers, the main character, and I really like how they do the stretching ability. I've never seen how they've depicted it before in a movie. It looks very, very neat, actually. And, like, they use his bending ability very uniquely in ways that you never would be able to do before. What I'm trying to say is they use his skill set to its advantage, because they're able to make the action scenes a lot more interesting, because he has an ability that I just don't see very often in a lot of other superhero films. Like, how many, like, yes, you have Mr. Fantastic who can stretch his arms, but the last time we've seen anything like that was in that awful Fan Four Stick movie, right? Like, have we seen a lot of characters that have that stretchability? I don't think so. Or at least I haven't seen anyone who has done it as well as One Piece has. So I have to give my props to the visual effects teams. I think they did a really good job. And the stunt choreographers, because I think the fight scenes and how they incorporated the stretching ability was really clever. Just overall was really impressed with the action. Elastigirl, that's another one. But that's also from, The Incredibles, which is pretty old. Sexy Rhino says there's a lot of scenes that almost replicate the manga. Yeah, I could tell. Even though I had never seen the anime, it just felt so authentically anime. Even I could tell that they were very closely replicating a lot of stuff. Even though I hadn't seen it, just because it just felt very anime. I don't know how else to say it. The modern designer says in live action it usually looks awful. Exactly. That's why I was impressed with the stretching effects, because the only times I've seen it in live action are, I think, with the Fantastic Four movies, and I don't think it really looks that convincing in them, so I was impressed with what they did here. I think the stretching looked really good. I also like some of the side characters. I think, again, everyone came to their B game. I liked this character here. I won't even try to say her name, or y'all gonna say I'm saying it wrong, but she was very good. There was really only one actor. He's the actor who has the blonde wig, and I won't say is very effeminate, but was very effeminate in a positive way. But he just kind of reminded me of, like, he had such, I won't say that, but he was very, like, are you, I don't know. There was some very homoerotic energy in this movie, is what I'm trying to say. There were several scenes in this series where I was just like, are they gonna kiss? There was just a lot of, like, subtle gay context, or just, I don't know if it was me, but, like, there were so many scenes where I was just like, okay, you have two guys that are, like, very sweaty. One of them has their shirt off. They're, like, talking very closely to each other, very intense. And there's, like, many scenes like that in this show. And I'm just like, did anyone else pick up on the homoerotic energy in this show? Because I felt this show was very, very, very fruity in the best way possible. Not an insult at all. I just felt it was just like, I was feeling the vibes. Femboy energy, yeah. Femboy energy. I'm trying to say this in, like, the nicest way possible, but it was just, like, something I couldn't help but notice. It was like everyone was just very, like so gay for each other, but I loved it. Anyway, here's an example of the stretchy effect and how closely they replicated it with the show. I just think it looks really, really good. I like how they did it. Again, I think I'm not sure what the actor's name, I should have looked it up, but he perfectly encapsulates this character. I love how much, like, facial looks, like, how much energy he gives to the performance and how much expression he gives. He's very, very expressive. I think, like I said, he holds the whole show together so far. I'm really liking it. I would say, I've only seen the first episode, but so far I would rate the show. I would probably rate the show so far like a 7. Like, it's really good. Especially for an anime adaptation for Netflix, I'm surprised by how decent it is. Like, again, for someone who has no knowledge of the original, I'm quite impressed. It's actually really good. I hope I didn't offend anyone. By the way, I am, like, 100% pro-LGBT, so do not worry about me being, like, anti-gay or anything. That was not meant to be homophobic. I could not notice how fruity the show was. Louis Cotran says, oh, that's the guy from the Peter Pan movie, the same actor. What? Wow. Why am I just now putting that together? This is the same kid that played Peter Pan. You're right. Why am I just now noticing this? Wow, he is much better in this than in Peter Pan. Like, 10 times better. Like, night and day better. That makes me think it was the director's fault for his performance in that movie, because he is so much better in this. Yeah. I know, right? An actual good anime adaptation. Right? I was surprised, too. I know, everyone says the Death Note adaptation was terrible. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as that. Alright. anything else about One Piece? I just wanted to give you my quick overall thoughts on the show. Again, I'm not going to go into spoilers since a lot of you haven't seen it, but I was pleasantly surprised. I actually think it has a strong start. There was a lot that they had to go over, a lot of exposition to go through that I think they did very effectively without seeming like we were just listening to like endless facts. Like, I feel like I understand this world really clearly. They pretty much just kind of drop you in the middle of the action very, very quickly, which I appreciate. Like, the pacing of the show is actually pretty good. I was a little worried maybe I'd get bored because I wouldn't know any of the characters or anything, but the episode actually kept my attention for the entire hour, so that's pretty high praise for me. Ryu liked it. Cool. Oh, you want me to do a poll? What do you want the poll for? Do you like the show? Okay, I guess I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll for if you've seen it, do you like it? Alright. Let's see. One Piece. Okay. I guess the question will be, did you like it? So I'm gonna say, yes, loved it. I'm gonna do, no, not my thing. I'm gonna do, it was alright. And then the last one's gonna be, didn't watch it. Alright. Adding the poll. Maria says, which Peter Pan can't find it in his bio? It's the Disney live-action Peter Pan that they just did on Disney+. It came out a couple months ago. You should be able to find it on Disney+. Jojo Rod says, yeah, it felt like The Last of Us in terms of quality. I'm actually very surprised by the quality. Like, I couldn't help but compare the production values to Disney+, just because I've also been watching, like, the Ahsoka show. And just it's night and day as far as production values. Like, you can tell they use a lot more real sets, a lot more real props. They weren't just overusing the volume for everything. Like, it's actually really good. I'm pleasantly surprised. Alright, going to the poll. 52% of you haven't seen it, as I expected. But out of the ones who haven't seen it, 36% of you say that you loved it. That's huge. That's actually, most of you loved it. And I actually think I'm part of that group. And then 7% of you think it's not your thing, and then 7% of you thought it was just alright. So, but the vast majority of the people who did see it loved it, so that's a good sign. And I actually think that's pretty accurate, because I think the show is really good. LP Harris says, I don't think it's the same actor. Is it not the same actor? Someone said it was the same actor, so I thought maybe it was. But maybe it's not. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, for the Holes movie. Why do you guys want me to talk about the Holes movie so much? What is with the Holes movie? Okay, because Saki says not the same actor. His name is Inaki. Okay, so it's not the same actor. Never mind then. It kind of looked like him, so I thought for a second maybe the Peter Pan movie was just filmed like several years ago. That's why he looked a lot younger, but alright, so it's not the same actor. Never mind. I did like Zoro as well. Zoro was a nice character. I liked his fight scenes. The fight scenes were really, really good. Alright. So that's my non-spoiler review, or just my non-spoiler thoughts, really, on One Piece. Overall, again, I give it a 7 out of 10 so far. I'm going to continue it. I'm very curious. I'm not going to go back and watch all 1,000 episodes of the show, though. I just can't do that. That's too much. But I might watch this one. So I'll let you guys know my thoughts as I continue it, though. Alright. So that's actually the end of the live stream. That's all I had for you guys today. Just because it's already been a full hour, I'm not going to do a full, ask me anything. So I'm going to answer 2 questions, and that'll be the end of the live stream for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always, to talk more movie news. I was really glad having you all here today. It was a fun discussion. I love having you guys here. And I'll answer 2 more questions, and that'll be it. Oh, the monitor designer says you got me excited about trying it now. Well, I'm glad. I hope you like it. Oh, The Flash. Okay. I did do a review of The Flash technically on Friday in the live stream I had to delete. That's why I haven't talked about it in more detail yet. I didn't have any graphics for that yet. You know what? Because you guys have been patiently asking me, I'll add that to tomorrow's live stream. I'll have all the graphics for it like I had for One Piece today, and I'll give you my review for anyone who missed the Friday live stream of what I thought of The Flash. How about I do that? LP Harris says, have you seen news about a Disney animated movie called Sade? It looks good. Maybe they're listening to what fans want. I haven't. I haven't heard of this at all. What is it about? Thoughts on Doja Cat? I really liked Doja Cat during her Planet Her era, and then she started getting real grumpy and cussing out everyone, and I don't know. She seems like fame is not affecting her well, and like she's kind of taking it out on everyone, so I hope she's alright. But yeah, I like her music though. Anyway, that was it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was great talking to you all.